Hi, I'm Tim Elkhorn, the radio play-by-play voice of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and you're watching Keeping It Real Sports.
Our fan base has grown. Fans like former All-Pro Joe Hayden of the Cleveland Browns and current All-Pro.
That's why I tell the Cleveland Browns.
And of course you. Here's to another year of Keeping It Real Sports. Thanks for watching Keeping It Real Sports.
Yes, sir. Rock Yassin, Keeping It Real Sports.
Appreciate you, brother.
With Prince Bell, we rocking with Keeping It Real Sports, and we gonna be on this. We gonna be on a lot of times. I love the platform. Check in. It's the new wave. Like, follow, subscribe, and do all that good stuff.
Come on. Told you I got you. Wanna talk about the game, he can talk about it. Tennis, match, golf, he can talk about it. Don't matter what it is, he can talk about it. Any sport dude, he know about it. Save your boy bum, don't doubt it. If he tell you that it is what it is. The real sports guy in the Sandman. Talk show game in the bag, man. Rep, don't have to throw the flag, man. Steve Taylor, Andy Sands. It's over, OVA. Game over, they don't play. From the fourth quarter to the ninth inning. NASCAR wheels keep spinning. To the 18th hole, he's still in control. Guy on the go. Coach never missing the play, cause he know the deal. This keeping it real. Sports. Come on. Keeping it real. Yeah. Let's go.
Let's go indeed. Another edition of Keeping It Real Sports. I am your boy, the Real Sports Guy. I am glad to bring it to you. Man, I am excited about this one here. He is the Sandman, Andy Sanzada. And Sandman, we got another big show planned for the people today. Tell them about it.
Yeah, Steve, this is going to be really exciting. We've got the men's and women's final to talk about in the U.S. Open. We're going to break down the Lions and Chiefs game from Thursday night. We're going to finally give you our 6 teams that missed the playoffs, but we think are going to make the playoffs.
Okay.
And then we got a new top 10 in college football.
Yeah, man. Yeah, see, man, you know, the BDI was been in full effect this week, man. We had to put our heads together, man, and come up with a good top 10. I think we did that, man. Special shout out to Fizzy Bees Distributed, man, for jumping on board, man, being a partner with us, and man, James Foster at Foster's Barbershop, man, much love to you, man. Thanks for joining, coming on board with us, man. We're feeling you. Hey, man, I tell you what else we're feeling, man. It is this segment, Andy. We call it just hot off the press.
Well, nothing hotter right now than contracts, record contracts in the NFL, right, Steve? Let's start first in Cincinnati. Let's go to Joe Burrow. We knew it was coming. We didn't know what the number was going to be, but he gets a 5-year, $275 million, a NFL record, $55 million per year. So Joe Burrow going to be a Bengal for a long time.
Yeah, man. Well, you know, this is a good move for them to make. But, man, don't you find it just a little bit ironic that they decided to announce that just minutes before the Chiefs kick off, you know, their, you know, arch rival? I mean, I just thought a little bit of gamesmanship there, you know, maybe a little one-upsmanship try there.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. You know, I could see that for sure. They also did it the week they're playing the Browns, too. So
yeah, true.
All right, the other big one, this was huge, Steve. Nick Bosa stays in San Francisco, $34 million per year. I believe it was was it a 10-year deal or a 7-year deal?
It was a 5-year deal.
5 years, okay.
Yeah, it was a 5-year deal. But the thing is, man, you know, man, the years, man. I mean, he's got $34 million a year, man. That eclipses Aaron Donald's deal, man, by $2.5 million.
Yeah, that's a big one. And, you know, they had to have him. I mean, everybody's talking about this team as a Super Bowl contender. They're not getting there without Nick Bosa. So they knew that. They got it done. All right, let's go to quick hitters.
quick hitters.
Start with the women's final later today at 4 o'clock. It's going to be the American Coco Gauff against the newly number one ranked player as of Monday in Aryna Sabalenka. Sabalenka won the Australian Open earlier this year, and she had enough wins to earn enough points to become number one. But this is Coco's second major final. She made the 2022 French Open final. Do you think that experience will allow her to get her first U.S. Open title later today?
No, I told you 3 weeks ago when she won in Cincinnati. That got her ready for this, Andy.
Okay.
That's what's got her ready for this. You know, I like the fact that she did participate in the final, even though it was in the French Open, and she was a little out over her skis. That's a slower surface. This here is tailor-made for her, man. She went to Cincinnati. She got it done in Cincinnati. I see her getting it done against Sabalenka. Sabalenka's term at number one, I think, is going to be short-lived, and she goes down.
All right. I'll take Sabalenka just out of spite.
Yeah, because you don't want me to be right. I told you in the beginning of this tournament, Coco Gauff was going to win.
No, I hope she wins because she's an American, but just for the show's sake, I'll take Sabalenka to make it interesting.
Yeah, she's going to win. She's going to win.
This one we're going to be on the same page about, okay? It's Djokovic
absolutely.
and Medvedev. A rematch of the 2021 final. Everybody had penciled in Carlos Alcaraz. Steve, I watched every point of that match last night. Medvedev is for real. This is his tournament. This is his surface. But he's going to be going up against the guy he beat in the final. That's enough motivation. That's what's missing for Djokovic. He's going to get it done. Djokovic.
That's why he's going to get his tail kicked tomorrow because of that. Man, Novak Djokovic is built like a truck from the ground up, man. His framework is like no other tennis player that I've ever seen, ever. This dude is the real deal, man, and you will see it come into fruition tomorrow. He took apart, man, game Brian Shelton, man. He took him apart and just dismantled him on national television, man. This dude, man, is on a different level. It's levels of this.
Well, Medvedev took apart Alcaraz, though. So I think it's going to be a great match. I think it goes 4 sets, but I think Djokovic wins. All right, next we got Kim Mulkey's record contract, Steve. 10 years, $32.5 million. That's the highest contract ever for a women's basketball coach. She won a national championship last year. She gets rewarded for it.
Yeah, she should. Man, I tell you what I'm looking forward to, man. Tonight, man, is UFC 293. Israel Adesanya, the last style bender. I'm telling you, the most electrifying person in UFC, period. End of story. People tune in tonight because this might not last long. Strickland is a fighter that comes straight to you. That's bad news if he comes straight to Adesanya because it's night Irene.
Big news for the Dodgers, Steve. Julio Urias gets charges against him for domestic violence. He is no longer with the organization as of right now. This is a big hit for them in their quest for another World Series championship.
Yeah, man, and we close out, man, on the FIBA World Basketball Championships, and for the second year in a row, the Americans, the second cup in a row. So that's the last. I think they do this every 4 years. The Americans have failed to qualify for the finals. They will face Canada for the bronze once again. So the Americans, just goes to show you, man, you just can't roll anybody out and beat all of these countries because they have great teams, man. Germany had a whole lot of NBA players.
Yeah, and Germany's the only undefeated team in the tournament. I like them to win it over Serbia.
Absolutely. So there you go, man. Hey, let's get into NFL storylines.
Okay. Let's start with Thursday night, Steve. The Chiefs and the Lions to kick off the season. This was a great game. Now, a lot of people are not crediting the Lions for the win as much because of the injuries to Travis Kelce and the lack of presence in the middle with Chris Jones. However, I think that's a disservice and that's unfair to Detroit. I think they went in and played a great road game. They executed their game plan. They found a running game, Steve, which is a big part of their offense that wasn't there as much as it's going to be this year. I think that's a huge win for the Lions. It's not time to panic in Kansas City. They still have Mahomes. Kelsey's going to be coming back. I think they find a way to get Chris Jones on the field after seeing what their defense was like without him. But this is a big win for Detroit and their fan base to start the season.
Man, well, I'm going to tell you why it's such a big win for Detroit, man, because Detroit won this football game despite playing its A game. In fact, the Detroit Lions played its C game, people. The Detroit Lions, when it was time to go win the game, they won the damn game. Man, it is Motor City Dan, man, starting to show his culture in Detroit. We're seeing it. We see the running game. They got back to just running the damn football when it counted, man. That's how they were able to outlast the Chiefs, man. They have a defense that flies around the football. We saw them last year fire the secondary coach, and we all questioned, man, is this thing spinning out of control? No, they got this thing together. They've got their players in-house. Man, I like the Detroit Lions. We said it before. I like the Detroit Lions. This thing is not a fluke. Man, they've got a couple of playmakers that when they get Jameson Williams back and the ability to stretch and take the top off of defense, they're going to be very problematic. We told you last year, Amon-Ra St. Brown was going to be a breakout star. Boy, were we right on that one. He is spot on, and I tell you, man, Andy, he's only getting better. The Lions are a problem. I am telling you, they are a problem.
Yeah, can we talk about the play of Jared Goff, too? I thought he did an outstanding job of executing the offense and not turning the ball over, Steve. And he's the only quarterback in the entire NFL that's undefeated against Patrick Mahomes. How about that one?
Yeah. What? Look, what's Patrick Mahomes' number? 15. Jared Goff is 16. I'm one better.
Okay,
Just
well,
saying.
there you go. All right, so let's take a look at the 6 teams now that some of us think. I'll say it that way.
See, I like how you said that, how you slipped that in there. You want to jab. I love that, Andy.
We don't agree on all these, but let's make it interesting, all right?
Let's do it.
We do agree on the first one, without question. And we're going to segue that off of the game from Thursday because we saw it firsthand. It's the Lions. They will make the playoffs. Again, if you watched our show a couple weeks ago, we had them in the NFC preview winning the NFC North. There's a reason for that. This is a complete football team. Steve, they had a hell of a draft, an absolute terrific draft. They found the missing pieces they were looking for in the draft in Sam Laporta and Jahmyr Gibbs on offense. They added some depth on defense. No question the Lions are one of the teams.
Well, yeah, I think you're spot on this one, man. I love the Lions. I love what they do, man. But when I look at who else might make it, Andy, you got to look no further than the New Orleans Saints. You know, simply by default, man. Well, they get their quarterback. They get Derek Carr in there. So now you have stability at the quarterback position. You get Mike Thomas back from Ohio State. You get your big go-to guy back. You add him with Chris Olave and their playmakers going up the field. You pair that with Alvin Kamara and that defense. When you look at their defense, man, they've got all pros on every level, man. This is a team that you really got to pay attention to, man. The New Orleans Saints, man, I know we laugh at the coach, but, man, they've quietly put together a pretty solid team.
And a lot of people have them as a sleeper pick in the NFC, Steve. To go all the way to the Super Bowl. I'm not going to go that far, but they will make the playoffs. I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
This one is maybe a surprise to some of our listeners and viewers, but we're really high on Atlanta, Steve. We really like the draft of Bijan Robinson. They've got Kyle Pitts at tight end. We think Desmond Ridder is going to be the guy. We think he's going to have a nice season, and they've gotten enough just to what they needed in the draft and a couple free agents and defense to be a contender in the NFC South. So they're going to sneak in with a wild card spot in the NFC.
I like it. I tell you one that you don't like that I do, man, is you don't think you're one of them ones that don't believe in my Rams. You are one of those ones that don't believe in my Rams. I love to play I told you so. I did it 2 years ago. I'm prepared to do it again now. I'm telling you, people, I want you to listen closely and dial it in, because I'm telling you, the Rams are going to make the playoffs this year.
All right. We'll see. I'm not in agreement on this one either, but I'll let you have this one, so go ahead.
Well, see, man, because you don't believe in Russ, and I tell you what, I tell you this, and I'll go as far as to say, if Denver is not the team that slides in, there could be another team that wears orange that possibly could, because it's really highly possible for every damn team in the NFC North to make the playoffs. So I'm going with Denver because, man, it's, unlikely that every team will make the playoffs in that division. But if it happened, it surely wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, this is where I would put the Browns. I'm with you on that. And then to your point about the AFC North, you've got Pittsburgh in there as well. A lot of people, Steve, are really high on the Pittsburgh Steelers. They believe in Kenny Pickett. And obviously Mike Tomlin is one of the best coaches to ever do it.
And they should, man, because, man, that defense hasn't gone anywhere, Andy. And I love, man, now Kenny Pickett is starting to look down the field, man. You're not seeing him be Chekhov Charlie like he was last year. Last year, he was so quick to dump it down to the tight end, in particular the backs. Now you're starting to see the connection with he and Pickens. Pickett to Pickens is going to be a problem. That's my 3 Ps for the week.
All right, so those are the 6 teams that some of us think will make the playoffs this year.
I like how you said some of us. I
year.
love it, Andy. I love it.
Listen,
I got you.
It works out great for me because if you're right, then you get all the credit. But if you're not, then I get the credit. See? So I'll take that chance.
Yeah, that's my and see people. You see what I deal with every week.
Hey, you know what? We're gonna start something new this year.
Okay.
We're about to get into our picks for the NFL games. Now remember, in college, and who you got, we pick against the spread.
See.
But in the NFL, we're picking the game itself and just the game, okay? That's how we've always done it. This year, we're going to add something special. We're going to give you a guaranteed win every single week, okay? It's going to be our lock of the week.
see, he wanted to weasel out on me and take the easy locks. But I'm going to let him get that one off. So, Andy, okay, so this is week 1, and I'm sorry that we weren't able to come on before the Chiefs and the Lions because that was my lock of the week.
Okay.
But being that I wasn't able to get that off, I've got another lock for you, but let's see your lock.
All right, so I didn't take the easy road. At first I was going to, but then you challenged me. So I went a little deeper into the schedule, and I'm going to give you the Vikings at home to beat Tampa Bay. I just love Kirk Cousins. I love what this team's all about. I still believe they might be able to sneak into the playoffs, on an outside possibility. The 2 teams come out of the NFC North. But for sure, I like them to beat Baker Mayfield and Tampa Bay at home to start the season.
Yeah, I see what you did. My friend. I see what you did. But see, my friend, really went out on a limb.
Yes, you did. I'll give you a lot of credit for this one.
My friend, went inside the numbers. My friend, have stats to back my pick. Because ever since Joe Burrow showed up in Cincinnati, he has had problems playing the Cleveland Browns. And I, my friend, had time to spend with the Browns this offseason. So I first-handedly saw what's going on there. So my lock for the week is the Cleveland Browns at home against said Bengals. It's too much noise going around the Bengals, contracts being signed and everything. Cleveland has been quiet, flying under the radar. Nobody talking about Deshaun Watson. People, it's going to be a Deshaun Watson sighting tomorrow. I love the Browns. And if you're going to give me 1.5 points, I really like them. Cleveland, my lock of the week.
All right, let's get into our other games we're going to pick in the NFL this week. Let's start in Pittsburgh, Steve. Let's stay in the AFC North. This is probably the game of the week on the schedule, other than maybe the Monday night game, looking at the Bills and the Jets, which we'll pick here in a minute. But San Francisco at Pittsburgh. Nick Bosa says he doesn't want to be on a snap count. He wants to play as much as needed. I just don't know if he's in the right condition to do that and be effective enough. But, Steve, do I ever pick the Pittsburgh Steelers? No, I don't. And it doesn't start now. I'm taking San Francisco on the road to start the season.
Wow. Does that really surprise me?
No,
Well,
you
look-
shouldn't.
well,
That's
look,
okay. I'm predictable. I'm okay with being predictable. It's fine.
Look, Andy, I'm sorry, my friend. I just think it's a tough ask. I think I'm a big guy on noise. It's a lot of noise going around San Francisco, contracts being signed around there, man. The Pickens thing is real, man. And oh, by the way, Pittsburgh's always played defense, man. And you're talking about coming around to Pittsburgh to play in game one. Give me the Steelers.
All right, next we got the Bills and the Jets. Monday night affair, all the hype around Aaron Rodgers at home. He gets his first game in a Jets uniform at home. But Steve, Buffalo is once again a Super Bowl contender. And you and I don't have the Jets making the playoffs. They can't win games like this if they're not going to make the playoffs. So I've got Buffalo on the road to go in there and remind people who's the beast of the AFC East.
Well, you know, man, I'm really up and down with this one, back and forth, man. You know, I expect the New York Jets to show up, man. But again, I'm going with my noise theme. There's a lot of noise going around, man. New Jersey and the New York Jets, man. While the other side of town, the New York Giants are going about their business, man, really quietly, man. I'm liking Buffalo in this here setting as well. So give me the Bills.
All right, next game, we got to pick up the pace here a little bit. Chargers, Dolphins. Kellen Moore's first game as offensive coordinator. Can Tua be the Tua that everybody thinks he can be and stay healthy, Steve? That's a big question. They did get Jalen Ramsey in free agency. I think it's going to help their secondary, but he'll be tested right away by Justin Herbert. I know you're not high on the Chargers, but I am on this game because it's at home to start the season. Give me LA.
I'm sorry, bro. Look, man, I'm not a believer, man, at all, man, in the Chargers, man. Give me the Miami Dolphins, man. I like Tua and company. Give me them.
All right, our final game we're going to pick is New Orleans and Tennessee. DeAndre Hopkins has spurned quite a number of teams for passing on him. Does that mean he'll show up with a big game? Not against New Orleans defense. Forget it. In Derek Carr's first game as a Saint at home with the crowd behind him, I like New Orleans at home.
Yeah, man, that is a good bet as well, man. I'm going to roll with New Orleans myself, man. I just like what's being built in New Orleans, man. Give me the Saints.
All right, so let's transition out of the NFL and let's go to college football. All right, partner. We got a brand new top 10. Let's start at the bottom. Number 10, we've got the Utah Utes.
Oh, man, well, you got to love it, man. Man, they win without Cam Rising. We told you before the season started that they're very physical. We saw that, man, take place the other night. They pushed Florida around like a shopping cart for 3 hours.
Big game tonight for Texas, but we've got them at number 9. The poll has them at number 11. We believe very much in the Texas Longhorns this year and their chances to win the Big 12.
Yeah, playmakers on the outside. Worthy, the big-time threat down the field, man. You know, they've got a Sweat, man, the defensive record up front, man. Man, when you look at it, man for man, they have more NFL players on their roster than Alabama. Just saying.
Speaking of NFL players, how about the quarterback for the Washington Huskies and his potential? And Michael Penix Jr. had an outstanding game. If it wasn't for what Colorado did, he probably would have been that dude this week, Steve. Outstanding start, big win for them last week. Washington stays in at number 8.
Yeah, man. You know what, man? You were ahead of the curve on this one, man. I got to give you hats off to this, man. You kind of picked them out last year, man. Good job, man. Penix is the real deal, man. Got to pay attention to the Huskies.
Joe Milton and the Tennessee Volunteers. I knew I was going to do that. Stay there at number 7. Not much to say about this one, Steve. They had a good start to the season with a win over Virginia, a team that was playing with a lot of emotion.
Yeah, they really did, man. But again, the big play capability that Tennessee possesses. Joe Milton starting to complete more passes at a higher clip, man. That is what you want to see. Growth in your quarterback. Tennessee has definitely seen that in theirs.
Caleb Williams and the USC Trojans stay right where we had them last week at number 6.
Yeah, man. Well, actually, they dropped one because we had them in number 5 last week, man. The question with USC has been the defense, man. When you give up, man, like 28 to San Jose, man, it starts to lead me to believe that there's gonna still be a problem defensively, man.
They're back, Steve. Florida State, impressive win over LSU. Jordan Travis looking like a Heisman candidate. The running game was effective as well, and that defense has always been there. Watch out for Florida State.
And the fact that, man, I don't know, I outthought the room myself, Andy, because, Brian Kelly just does not fare well against other top 10 teams. We saw that in the second half where LSU folded like a cheap suit, man. It was not a good look, but Florida State, we have them at number 5.
All right, picking up the pace here. Alabama at number 4. They got a big test at home, though, against Texas in a rematch of a dandy last year.
Yeah, man, it's going to be a big one, man. Man, I can't wait to see that one, man. That's the game of the day.
Ohio State gave some people, not the two of us, a little bit of a scare last week, but a big win on the road in conference with the new quarterback. The defense was overly impressive. I look for them to put up points today against Youngstown State.
Yeah, man, just say it out loud, man. A brand new starting quarterback in a conference game on the road. I mean, people, ease up, please.
But the team that they still haven't been able to catch, and they may not be able to catch in the Big Ten, it's Michigan at number 2. Impressive win last week without John Harbaugh. I expect them to roll again against UNLV.
Well, that Jim Harbaugh, man, Johnson in the NFL. But yeah, you're right, man. What they're doing, they've got playmakers everywhere. You got to have tip the cap of them to that team up north.
Carson Beck looked impressive in his first start, Steve, and that's scary for everybody with the Georgia Bulldogs at the top once again.
Hey, just keep rolling out All-Americans, Andy. It's almost not fair,
All right, so a recap of the top 10. Georgia at 1, Michigan at 2, Ohio State at 3, Alabama 4, Florida State 5, USC 6, Tennessee 7, Washington 8, Texas 9, Utah 10. It's time for Who You Got?
Who you got?
All right, our first game this week. Let me just remind everybody what happened last week. Oh, he starts the season undefeated. It's all downhill from here.
Yeah, you remember you started last year the same way.
That's why I said that. Yeah, but I'll take it. Listen, I got some insight into this game. Give me Ole Miss to cover on this one.
Yeah, man, I know, man. It looks like, man, it's going to be a game-time decision for Tulane starting quarterback, man. Palmer, we're not sure. But, yeah, I like the Rebels, especially this week. They got a week off, and then they've got another travel date against Alabama, but I like them today.
All right, another game we're keeping our eye on. How about the hype around the Colorado Buffaloes? They were our team of the week last week with what they did against TCU. Nebraska choked again in a Big Ten game on the road, Steve. Colorado by 3. Deion's first game at home. To me, this was the easiest pick of the week. Give me the Buffaloes to take away another victory and remind people that this used to be a rivalry.
Yeah. Nothing red this week, man. No eating no corn this week, man. For Colorado, they're taking it very serious, man. It is coming back. Coach Prime's first home game, man. All of this spells bad luck for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Give me the Colorado Buffaloes.
All right, this one, I'm not sure where we're going on this one, Steve, but that's an awfully big spread for a game that's going to be this close. So I like Texas to cover on the road in Tuscaloosa. I just don't know what we have in Jalen Milroe yet, and until I see him explode, I got to take Texas to cover this one.
Look here is your pick, brother. Give me the Texas Longhorns to win on the money line. And you're going to give me 7? Give me Texas. Man for man, Texas have more playmakers than Alabama. Man, I don't know where Alabama's going to be able to move the ball. Jalen Milroe is more of a running quarterback. He's not a dual threat quarterback, even though he threw for 3 tubs last week. Tommy Reese, man, we know about him. Man, look, Texas has big-time players. Worthy on the outside, Quinn Ewers, big-time quarterback. I like the fact that he cut his hair. He's turned into a big boy now. He's not the kid with backwards guy at the meeting, man. He's a big boy in the room. I'm liking what I'm seeing in Texas. Texas is going to be a problem. And historically, Texas, this is the 11th meeting. Texas, 7-2-1 against Alabama.
Yeah, and those are the numbers I was looking at as well. So we picked the same ones this week. So we'll see how that pans out for both of us. All right, before we go, we got to get to that dude. Steve, it's a no-brainer. I mean, 510 yards, a school record, 4 touchdowns, overly impressive win on the road. Shedeur Sanders, he is that dude for this week.
Gotta be, man. 5'10", man. Y'all thought Deion was playing? Man, come on, man. We tried to tell you. This thing was real.
And speaking of real, that's another Keeping It Real, episode 93. We're on our way to 100 episodes. We'll be there in about a month or 2, and it's all because of you. We greatly appreciate that. So for Steve
really
Taylor, I'm Andy Sanzana. Until next time, we wish you love.
Peace. Chuck them deuces.